If you're trying to put together a big project, say like cabinets or a desk, pocket screws are definitely one way to do it. But there's one aspect about them that drives me a little bit crazy almost every time I use them. And this is what they call cam out. Now that was a little bit hard to see, so let me show you a little closer. Camming out is a process of your bit not sitting fully in the top of your screw and actually coming out and bouncing across the top of it. This can damage the top of your screw and can damage your bit. Now cam out is a lot more common with a Phillips type screwdriver than it is with the actual square bit that is very common with pocket screws. But these can still cam out really easily, and let me show you why. Now I first want to say that the square head is a good design. If you can keep this screw and the bit in direct alignment with each other, it'll give a lot of strength on all four corners and allow you to get that screw in easily. But I don't live in a perfect world, so that perfect alignment, well, I can't get that all the time. Now if I have the bit directly in alignment, it turns easily, but if I turn it at just a slight angle and try the same process, see, it's already wanting to cam out, and it's barely at an angle. Now considering cam out is the main issue I found with pocket screws, I still would highly recommend them for some of your projects, but I believe I found a way that might be able to fix that cam out issue. Let's go give it a shot. Now if we compare the pocket screw to a standard type construction screw, you'll notice that this screw actually has a star bit for a head, and let me show you why. Now if we put the star bit into the screw straight on, it does great, and at a slight angle, it does great as well. That's because it grabs it nice and tight. Now of course at extreme angles it's not going to do very well, but within a small range here, this bit still does very, very well. Now if you do a quick search online for pocket screws, you'll find almost every company out there still uses this square bit. But I found one company that uses a star bit. I just recently picked up this variety pack of pocket screws, all in your standard lengths, and it comes with 2 bits, and every single one of these have the T20 star head in them. Now I just first want to say that I am not sponsored by this company. I just want to test these out to see exactly how well these will exceed our standard screws. And secondly, we're not replacing your pocket hole jig and accessories. We're just upgrading the bits and the screws. I have drilled out 8 holes, 4 for the square and 4 for the star bit, so we can test these out. Now for the first test, I'm going to hold this board upright, and I'm going to try and drill these as straight as possible, straight down into this board below. Now for the first test, the square bit did pretty well, but again, I kept them as straight as possible. I did have a couple that cammed out just a little bit, but not bad. So now let's test the star bit. Wow, that one sucked. Okay, we had the first bit just barely cammed out. The next 2 did great, and the final one actually cammed out a bunch. I do wonder if there's an imperfection or something in the screw, so let's investigate. Taking a closer look at this, I don't see any major imperfections, and if we use the bit, it slides in there fully and seems to turn it well, so I'm not exactly sure what caused that cam out. So I think what I'm going to do is drill 4 more holes in each board, get 4 new screws, and try this test again. I also just realized that I had my drill in the fast mode when I was drilling both of the screws in. That may explain some of the cam out. So I've adjusted my drill, and let's do it again. With the second test on the square bit, I again had at least 2, if not 3 of the screws has a little bit of cam out, so the speed obviously wasn't the problem there. And the second try on the star bit, well, had 2 of them that cammed out a lot as well. That was surprising. I really thought I would do a little bit better. Now since both of the screws seem to do very similar in the 3/4 inch plywood, I figured let's try some 2x4 lumber, just in case there's a difference there. Adjust this. There we go. Now for the square bit, the first screw didn't have any cam out. The second one had just a little bit at the end. Twist it again just like the other one. Ooh, feels even tighter. Now for the star bit, it didn't have any bit of cam out, but just doing 2 screws, I don't think that is really a good comparison. So let me drill a couple more holes and we'll do 2 more for each. And after the second test, both of them did very well. Neither one of them had any cam out, so no clear winner. After testing the square bits and these star bits, it's surprising how close they came together. There's a little bit of cam out in the square and a little bit of cam out in the star bit. I really thought the star bit would just run away with this, but that was quite surprising. Now I did some additional tests off screen and the results were almost identical to what you saw earlier. The two different bits, even though I thought the star bit would run away with the show, were almost identical. A little bit of cam out in both, but both of them did fairly well. So if you have any other ideas to really test this out, put that in the comments. I'd really love to hear those, and I might go back and revisit this just to compare it just a little bit better and make sure there is a clear winner or if there's not. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this comparison video, and if you did, please let me know what you think about it. And if by chance you want to buy some of the star bits, or it's that one, I'll put a link to that in the description just so you can check those out as well. Otherwise, get out in the shop and have fun building.